Hello there folks, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, a place where I discuss usually topics about spirituality and introspection. And this time I'm gonna continue with something that I started a long while ago, although I've kind of taken a break from different game related issues. And this one would be the sixth episode in my analysis and helping where I can regarding the Let's make a scene contest Heart Edition submission where we took part as RPG maker, game designers and developers, and created a short love scene in which, well, we portrayed different characters and a certain short plot. Now, the purpose of this series is to simply cheer up the participants and present, well, actually better said, watch their videos and, well, see what different ideas people came with so that I can broaden my own perspectives while at the same time helping them improve certain things here and there. They might find that actually useful, and none of my videos are made with judgmental purposes because I don't have any means, or I don't find any passion in, judging other videos as if they'd be inferior. And even if they'd be, that is the best part because I can share some of the wisdom I've acquired. After all, I'm knowledgeable of the fact that once I perish and, well, leave this world, the wisdom I have acquired will no longer service me. So the point is, why not share it till then? So the first video for this uh, clip would be one submitted by Coma70SE, and the video is called Love and a Promise. I don't know if it is a game though, or it's just a separate event created for this contest. And we have some plugins. Oh, some random dude, okay, and Jan Fly, and audio and music default RTP and Dylan, well, actually Dylan Becker. Okay, licensed under CC by 4.0. So this means it cannot be used uh, unless one receives explicit permission. And we also have some art, okay, NMVMZ assets. Okay, they also received some um, praising. Let's actually see. Let's actually see the video and see whether we can actually improve it by something. So the beginning is a kind of an inn, I would say, by the walls. We have some people staying at tables, and of course we have um, we have a counter maybe. Oh no, I doubt this is a counter. Actually, I guess this is a table, and the protagonist, I guess, is gonna date a female character, or well, the protagonist is actually waiting for for the other character to come. The layout seems okay. There could have been some extra additions. These seem a bit tall. I mean, placed a bit higher. So I'm guessing this wall is definitely um, 3 squares tall. Okay, we see a fence in here. Now, I would have left the fence um, up till here, honestly, because this space can actually be used by characters. After all, well, the fence is nice as an addition. It has a color which is different than the others, but the point is you already have a limiter. Now, the little problem which I think the fence was used to balance was the fact that there is no such thing as elevation in RPG Maker. So the point is the player could easily move from here to here. Now, in order to address that part, well, that ain't necessarily hard. You can actually set this, and this tile, and this, and this tile, respectively, as unwalkable. So the character and the player, well, the events cannot go from here to here because technically this gives you a sense of height, but for RPG Maker engine it is 2D, so it is still at the same level. So unless you use some kind of a trick, like for example region restrictions plugin, or why not a fence like this? It's not gonna work. However, the fence doesn't seem way too useful because you already give an impression that you can't climb it, okay? How I would change it is I would put the fence to start this part, I would put it to start here because it actually starts from the wall, and I would have the fence be like this, only like this, and the other part starting here and here. Now a tile you can actually take and you can in the tile sets where you have the tile used from, you can actually go in the tile set and you can actually specify that this tile can be walked on but not in a certain specific direction. There is a point where you see arrows and you press each arrow to mark that that direction is not walkable. So technically when you see that sign, you will mark the right direction in this case, that the player can actually walk on this tile but it cannot walk to the right. At the same time they cannot come on that tile from the right. So if you put the fence in here, it would look a bit, I would say a bit better. Now the character here seems to have some attires that I don't know if they belong to MV or MZ, and usually what I do with pianos is I let this tile walkable, and the character actually stays over, because here it kind of gives the impression that they sing telepathically. And I don't know if they're sitting, if they're standing, or if they are supposed to be sitting, but let's actually see.
Hey!
What's up?
Wait, the point is the sound is a bit
Sure.
awkward.
Skip this ad.
Okay, so apparently it's not from my side. So what we can hear is definitely we can hear some um, voices, which aren't bad. It's actually quite good. I think this is MZ because this one usually belongs to MZ, although I think someone made a plugin for MV as well. Okay, so we have different balloons.
Huh.
Okay, voices are actually, look. I know I promised we'd spend the weekend together, but, well, now I would have had this character here um, placed on stepping animation, because when they have stepping animation, at least they look like they're doing something. Okay, so the character's name is Logan. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we have a voice line, apparently. Voice packs. This is actually very good. But I don't really understand why the sound is actually heard like this. Oh, okay. So I'm guessing it's a recording issue. She just got pulled in for work. Pulled in for work?
Sorry.
Elle didn't want to miss our special day, but...
Okay.
Okay. A bit more balloons, I would say, to make the scene a bit more animated. These characters look a bit taller, I would say, so I don't know if these characters are actually, handmade, because this character, I don't think I've seen anything in MV, and I don't think MZ has this kind of eyes, so, or this kind of, either a blur or a shine on the hair. Okay, so
Huh?
that's a bit hasty. When do you leave? Um, I would write instead when will you leave, because, well, if this was a truly romantic scene in a way, or a scene in which a departure or a separation is expected. One would ask, when will you leave? Because the point is, it's a future reference, yes, but she's making more of a reference towards when are you leaving, so I know when you will come back, right? If one understands the psychology behind words, they can actually make, a great progress through just their text only. Because the problem with RPG like engines is that, your characters aren't that mobile. You have to put a lot of work to make your characters very, animated. So the point is, usually in such games, especially in dialogues, your characters are nothing else than pictures. And if there's nothing that draws the player's attention, then they might actually become ignorant, right? They might allow things to unfold in their own mind instead of paying attention to how they unfold in your own game, right? Like instead of understanding, right, realizing that this is a love scene or, a romantic approach in your video game, they instead lose themselves in their own mind, imagining how things would be, right? But I can't allow the player to imagine things in their own mind because of a psychological principle. If they imagine things in their own mind, it means my creation is not good enough. So definitely it's kind of a waste of time. Now, I'm not saying that any of these videos is a waste of time. I'm just saying this as, psychological approaches.
Huh.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's spend tonight together. Probably an exclamation mark.
Huh?
Yeah.
I would say really instead of yeah, until you come back. Till you come back, it makes it a bit, it makes it feel a bit more informal.
All right.
I'll make you, if it comes to that. I don't understand what it refers to, I leave the force, but okay, let's actually focus more on the video.
Take care.
Oh, okay, take care. And I like it that character sprites are used instead of the typical, face avatars. This is actually a nice
All
feature.
right.
The voice line for the male sounds very confident in a way. A bit non-emotional in a way, but well, we can't judge the build of the characters because we have no control over those. And ultimately, the character is just a spectrum of creation. It is a facet that the creator designed so that we can identify with and see whether we actually ourselves have anything in common. Even if you could never keep a promise. Now, Lily is a very cute name. So we have a soundtrack change. I'm guessing the girl... Oh, so wait. He was supposed to go in the army, I guess. So now he's kind of not returned back home, I guess. So we have a change of a song. Okay, so she's leaving that gravesite and she's meeting a new character. We have this nice zoom, which is something that we didn't see till now. And we have a different character. And I like that, their sprites are actually used, and this is the defeated state one. And okay, the voice line is actually nice. It's a good addition, I would say. So we have a new character called Nishiki.
Huh.
Hey, we have an animated puppy in here. So I'm guessing this character is probably a friend. So I'm guessing both fought on the front or where they had to go, and well, it seems that he survived, but the other one kind of didn't. What I would have used in here is more suspension lines, because The suspension marks shows sadness, and then learn to use occasionally at least the functions that the text box confers, like for example a break when it comes to the um, display of the text, because she wouldn't say I know it's okay necessarily in a single strike. She probably would say I know, and then a break, and then it's okay, and again suspension marks, because it amplifies, right, the sensations, right, the feelings, because when you are very sensitive to things, right, you will perceive so many, and the subtleties can have a very powerful impact. That's why I always pay a great importance to the details, the small details, because those are usually the ones that are the many, and these small details actually count a lot, at least psychologically, to people.
Huh?
Question mark maybe? Okay, thank you for the letter. He wanted you to have it. It's a reminder of how much he loved you. Well, this was kind of unexpected. I mean, it was a sudden plunge. I'm guessing this, is this comatose, maybe? Or... Okay, so... Oh wait, it actually has an end. Ah, it's okay. I guess the artist wouldn't mind. Now, the point is, the video is actually nice. I kind of liked it. So it starts with a, um, nice talk somewhere at a restaurant, and we kind of understand not at the beginning that, um, you know, the protagonist, I guess, or I guess she is the protagonist. So the male character has to take part in a war, I guess, and you know he never comes back. That's why the sudden switch to the new scene, right, the second scene at the graveyard. Now, this is actually quite touching. It was an event that I liked. A bit simplistic, yes, one may say, but at least the message was delivered. And, it had the, bare minimum at least. It had two nice soundtracks, it had balloon animations, and it had a decent, uh, you know, dialogue. Now, decent not in a bad way, because it was very simple. There weren't, heavy words that one would have to, think and, try to interpret, because everything stated was, straight up to the point. There wasn't anything that could be interpreted in a different way. So yeah, and I also liked the fact that they used voice packs. This is something that one rarely sees, and usually they're a fuss to use. One can see here that one can actually better said here in this case that there are kind of several voice lines, right? There aren't necessarily too many, but not anyone is a heavy spender, so yeah, that's kind of a point. So all this being said, yes, I kind of liked it. So, yes, I'm really curious whether this is actually part of a game or just an event on its own. Because, well, playing other people's games and, you know, doing this kind of interpretation on them is definitely not bad, because it's something that I kind of like, and, well, I have enough English skill to help people where it may seem lacking to them. Okay, so let's actually go to the next video, one which belongs to Akoniti, if I read it correctly. And this one, well, I think I recognize this one, or it's one that's made by someone and it resembles the style. So the video is called Love Bytes, okay? So, from what I see in here, apparently we have some post-apocalyptic world, maybe, because I know there is this type of pictures in a well-known DLC, um, something like Zombie Apocalypse or something like that, and the graphics seem to be somewhat similar. So the video is around 4 minutes. Oh, okay. So let's see. Well, that's it. We're finally married. Okay. It took you long enough to ask me. Well, to propose. I would say to propose because it's a much more direct word. But I'm glad I hung in there. It was well worth the wait. It could be used to, put even a greater emphasis. Now, these portraits kind of remind me of Wolfenstein 3D. Oh my gosh, the flashbacks. Well, I was never the marrying type. I was never the guy to get married, or to look forward towards marriage, but this sounds way too formal. Okay, until I met you. Okay, I love you too, Jack. And we have quite a cheerful melody in the background. And this car kind of suddenly appears, which is a bit observable, one may say, but it's actually no problem. It's actually good when you finally have, things that actually move around and give you the impression that, hey, the map is way more animated. So, what we see here is technically the two persons actually sit on the bench. These are definitely made, okay? These are not RPG assets because RPG assets are one tile tall. These characters are much taller, I say. They might be, and you can actually make your characters taller, and it kind of resembles the fact that they are sitting on the bench because they are much taller than it. So it's a very nice you know it's a very nice, let's say, visual illusion, I can say. I kind of like the, old school, graphics, the 16 bits or whatever it was called, with, very few color details. It's not necessarily my style. I prefer not necessarily flashy graphics, but I prefer rather modern graphics to show a lot of detail. But honestly, there is a lot of detail in this as well. You have several flowers. You also have a bird. Oh, it actually flies. Okay. It is. I'm so thankful we get to spend it together. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is exactly the pack I was speaking about, the zombie apocalypse pack. Oh, okay. So we have some suspense music. Maniacs. Okay. In a while. In an instant, maybe, because in a while means that I will wake you up shortly. I mean, shortly after this moment. Um, or I'll stand watch and wake you up immediately as I see something, or the moment I see danger. Okay, so the character slowly walks towards the bed. It's kind of understandable that they have this. Oh, okay, they actually have own stances. I'm curious whether they created these assets in Aseprite because they or were actually in Aseprite and QSprite was used. Oh, okay. So it was expected that they would transform. Some voice packs would have been good, I'd say. If only we had run a little faster, I would have placed an exclamation mark in here. So the environment is definitely changed. Now, logically, it's a bit funny because you have them sleep in a certain building. They don't know who it belongs to. Well, actually, uh, yes, she said she would take watch, right? But from a plot perspective, the point is the whole city is devastated, and the question is, like, they don't seem to have noticed that, or, well, probably she noticed that, but she didn't necessarily wake him up. Now, if they slept in the same apartment, and, well, it's kind of awkward how people don't realize that someone, becomes someone different. But okay, it's not a problem. After all, it's just a game, so the plot ain't necessarily a priority. By now, after all these years, I would place a suspension mark and of course use some balloons. But the problem with balloons is that you have to set them a bit higher to show, because if your characters are higher, the balloons might actually overlap with their faces. Waiting, hoping, growing together. The moment seems a bit rushed, but for an event that had to be 5 minutes, you can't put in all the details. So at least there is some effort put into this. We're finally married, but now it means nothing. Everything is rotten. Okay. So we have some monologue in here. Oh, okay, she's moving around. Guess there's only one answer. Okay, so we have a beast. Oh, okay, so apparently she stabbed the other. Ah, okay. Okay. Oh, so they love each other as a zombie person. Honestly, zombies aren't capable of love, but, well, for the sake of art, why not? I mean, when you hear the stab sound, uh, you kind of expect her to have killed the husband, but, this ending is actually a bit funny. I mean, not many would have expected that, she just goes to his arms and say, you know what, bite me so that we can live together as zombies. Well, as opposed to what, you know, the industry might make people understand, zombies aren't capable of feeling emotions. Now, the point is, well, for the sake of art, just leave it like this, because it's actually ingenious. The aspect of someone doing that, right? Giving up their own conscious life for something else, right? To become something different for the sake of someone else. Well, that is something worthy of a prize. So I would say the idea is actually, ingenious. Okay. Oh, Joel Stoidler. Oh, okay. So, honestly, the video is short. There wasn't much to improve at it, which goes to show it's actually, quite good as it is. So, moving on to the third one, we have um, we have the last video which we will take for today, and it belongs to someone that named themselves Stimulant Found. Alright, so I'm guessing we are sent to a different link, or I don't know exactly. Can we actually access it, or I think they kind of removed it. Well, I'm guessing we will have to go to the second page and, you know, pick one from there. That's actually my entry, and I'm not gonna comment on that until probably at last. So this entry belongs to Game Dev Mike 202. All of the graphical resources come from MZRTPs. Video made in MZ. The music tracks created in the video are as follows: Light of Hope, melodyloops.com, Love Theme composed by Peter Eastman, okay, and World Champions from the Epic Strings music pack sold as DLC for RMMV. Okay, this is all done through a single auto event. While I am still learning, I am really pretty happy with how it came out. I feel like there are spots where I could have polished it more, even without plugins and essentially using almost all RTP resources, but considering the toolkit to which I limited myself, I feel like it's good for a first effort. Can't wait to participate in more events. Well, that's the spirit. So we have a 4 minutes and a bit video, and let's see what it is about. What miracles will we actually see? Oh my gosh, this is one of the densest forests I've actually seen. So many trees in here, and different dimensions and sizes, I guess, although there are some similar ones, I could say. At least it looks very lush. Now the point is, I guess this is kind of a cliffside, right? Because it is, as one can see, over the other trees. So this, I'm guessing, is very high above. So hopefully there isn't someone that's gonna jump, over. Now, the first point about the video is when you use a lot of sparkly colors and bright colors, use a color that makes a great um, contrast. Like in this case, one could use orange, or one could use black maybe, because this white may be somewhat difficult for certain people to read. It's not in my case, although I'm like usually 2 meters away from the television because I sit in my bed. So the long struggle is finally over. The world is safe. It's been so long since I looked out over Ela. Ah, okay, so finally, actually the writing is not bad. So we have a floating text, or I don't, a scrolling text. Okay, everything has changed, and yet I'm full of joy. When last I stood here, I was alone in mourning. Mourning, so it's not morning, it's mourning. Okay, it's good. So they definitely lost someone if they were in a mourning. Now I am here to celebrate bittersweet victory, my upcoming marriage, and the birth of my child. Okay, that's actually good. I wonder how they made this scroll so slow, because I think speed 1 is a bit faster, at least in MV as far as I remember. Okay, so let's see. One single event to rule them all, which is usually the way I go, except some cases where I need, adjuvant events, to help the main one. So we have a character, red-headed or orange-headed character, and another one coming in. These characters stay by a cliff, by the edge of a cliff. Are you feeling okay, Kyle? I know that there are a lot of things that you need to focus on right now, but maybe just take this time today to be glad we're together. Okay, so this is definitely MZ by the way the portraits look. And, well, someone actually made a big change in here. I think there's a plugin for this to actually make your RPG Maker game, full screen. Now, I don't remember how MZ actually works, but I think it still uses the same or a slightly bit uh, bigger resolution. Yes, the right word wasn't coming to my mind than MV, but this actually is an awesome, ingenious aspect that you no longer have, the small resolution, which also allows for this so far away angle, right? We can see that the camera is which zoomed out, which actually is good because it gives a very good landscape perspective over these trees, right? They are so put one into another, and they make such a good illusion, of a very dense forest, because ultimately what these trees are, they're nothing else than separate pictures. So let's see. I wish they were here with us, Mara. After all, without them, Well, without them, there'd be no world for our little one to even be born into. I get it. I can hardly believe that we're going to be married without Rainia and Elric here. Rainia, Elric. They sound a bit Nordish, if I say correctly. It's wrong somehow, you know? Not like I don't want to get married, but... Wait. Oh, she actually had tears in her eyes, okay. Now, some balloons could actually go very well with your characters and set them, before the quote comes, set them exactly before the quote without the wait function. Therefore, both the balloon and the quote would trigger at the same time. It's okay, my love, I know exactly what you mean. Exclamation mark. Well, there's nothing that we can do about it. And nothing that we can do about that. Yes, about it. And I for one, no comma in here, am not going to let it ruin our wedding day. Exclamation mark because the guy looks happy. I hear someone take my name in vain. I could have sworn I just heard. Okay. It couldn't be. We watched them die. Nobody could have survived that. Exclamation mark because they don't believe it. Nobody. Or at least here. I don't care who you are. You get caught in a fireball like that, you're toast. Period. So it gives a certain impression that this character kind of didn't truly like the other person. Don't be too sure of that, Sonny boy. Sonny boy! Okay. Oh, okay. And... Oh, so actually they climbed up on a ladder. Oh, okay. They actually descend the ladder. They climbed up the ladder and then they descended it, yes. But it kind of sounds awkward. I don't know, like this one looks so tall, I doubt one would have a ladder for that. But well, for the sake of the uh, for the sake of the plot, let's actually let it like this. So Elric, you've been alive this whole time. I don't know whether to hug you or stab you. How the hell did you even make it out of the moor alive anyway? We saw you and Ray die. It's kind of pissed, one can say. Okay, they don't give any answer. Now in this case I would have used a fully opaque background because for this particular scene I don't need to see what's behind. Okay, the characters don't stay behind, there is no action that takes place here, so I doubt that not seeing this part would be a bad thing, at least for this particular scene. We very definitely did. How is this of how is any of this even possible? Not that I'm not happy, but no time to explain now, lass. Just shake a leg. We've got to get back to Kyle's village now. Exclamation mark because it's kind of imperative. What's going on there? Okay, because the place is far away, it's not close. It's not here. Here means the same location. If you are talking about another location, you usually speak about there because it's far away or further away than where you are. Rania decided she'd rather go check out the wedding venue than join me for my dramatic reunion here with you two. So if Mara wants any say in her own wedding day, I suggest we make for Woodvale. That would be good. Mm, now would be good. I would rather say right now, or preferably right now, right? Because you want to hurry the others, you want to make it imperative, but at the same time, it's not, you know, the most imperative thing. You know, you're still kind of asking them. hmm You mean Rainia's alive too? You both made it out? Okay, so the girl's actually crying. Hi, Mara, that she did. But I've got a feeling you're gonna kill her if she mucks up your special day. So what say we make a dash for it before... Come on, the text is too fast. Before she eats the cake preemptively. Oh, okay. Now, the text is a bit cheeky in a way. It's trollish, I can say. And the music also makes, a very good addition. It's like, it's kind of intended to be, an unexpected surprise. This kind of explains why the guy was a bit pissed, when he heard the character. And, it's like, I kind of sensed a bit that he's not happy about at least one of the other two characters' survival, if in any case there were any chances, and apparently now they actually did survive. Last one there is a harpy fodder. Oh, okay. He's awfully spry for an old wizard, isn't he? I'll see you back in Woodfell. I'm guessing she'll make for it. Love you too, honey. Hey, wait for me, you too. And I'm guessing after this quote he will also run for it. Oh, okay. Now I'm guessing that was the move 10 sound put at a very high pitch. So honestly, well, I looked just as in the other videos at 3, and I will conclude this edition. The 3 videos that I saw today were much shorter in a way. There wasn't much to interpret on, which means they're actually good on their own point, right? As of my opinion, of course, and I'm not here to say that I'd be superior or inferior to anyone, but just provide some points in case people would need. After all, I've got 3000 years in RPG Maker, so I might give, a tip or two. Now, hopefully you liked this video as well, and well, what do you think about each of the videos? What do you think about my points? Do you share them? Do you not share them? Feel free to share your points in the comment section below. You are appreciated. Take care. Ferengian Boar signing out.